the wonderful Swiss Berber. We've traveled to some fantastic places with you, Poland, Morocco. You did the fantastic series leading up to Tisha B'Av, and now we have you in the rain in Jerusalem. Jerusalem in the rain. That's quite a rare thing to say, but it's a blessing. And with that, I hand over to you for the magic, light, hope, and blessings of Chanukah. Thanks, Zvi, and thank you everyone for joining us.
Pleasure. So I'm not sure whether you can see, but up on the balcony at the moment, right behind me, is a Chanukah that's on the balcony. But we're going to be walking forward now on Rehov Abulafia Street. Okay, and Abulafia Street is named after a very famous rabbi, Abulafia. But before we do that, I want to just speak a little bit about Nachlaot. So let me just talk about where we are. For those people who know Yerushalayim will know the Shuk Machane Yehuda, and the Shuk Machane Yehuda is actually over the road. It's beyond the street which is called Agrippa's Street. Okay, behind me is another street called Betzalel, and then the one that's parallel to that is Jaffa Street, Rehov Yaffa. So all three streets run parallel in Jerusalem. Of course, Rehov Yaffa was the most important street. Now, when we're here in Nachlaot, this actual neighborhood stems all the way from 1885. It's not the first neighborhood of Jerusalem. There are other neighborhoods, of course, which will predate it. Now, remember, until 1860, all Jews are living in the old city. All Jews are living in the old city. Okay, until 1860. After hello, I've just met somebody. Hello. Bakasha. Okay, so all Jews are living in the old city until 1860. When they in 1860, basically we're having a whole story. It's a live talk, so I won't be able to answer you. Okay, in 1860, all the Jews are living in the old city. But remember, the gates of the old city are closed at night and they are opened in the morning. Now, what takes place is this. There's a brave man. His name is Moshe Montefiore. Okay, Moshe Montefiore was, I'm sure you all know, from Ramsgate in England, will come to Israel 13 times. And when he comes to Israel, he will spend his time various different places. Now, he will make a fund as well later on, and the fund will come and make a purchase here of land in this place over here. There are going to be 32 neighborhoods here, okay, in the area of Nachlaot. And we're also going to go to a very important neighborhood, which has a street on it called Einaim LeMishpat. And that Einaim LeMishpat has number 22 on it, which will then be Rabbi Levine's house. And he will speak about what it was like for him and the Rebbetzin to live here in Nachlaot. But as I said, I come along the Abulafia Street. I'm going to talk a little bit about Abulafia in a second. But while we're here, we sort of need to have a look at what's going to be taking place in front of me now. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see, but you'll notice the Chanukah candles over here. Now, if you can see the Chanukah candles, there are a light on the side of the door over here. They're on the left-hand side of the door. Here's the mezuzah, as you can see, okay? And on the left-hand side of the door, okay, is the Chanukah candles themselves. Now, of course, that's the halacha. And in Israel, as I do as well, I light my Chanukah candles. And here's another one just behind me. Let me just stand with it in the background. Here we go. So I light my Chanukah candles outside of my house. We also light by the window in the house, but I light pretty much outside of my house every night in a box, just like the one that you see over here. It talks about the idea of why we're doing this. So now you have to understand what the story is. Shulchan Aruch mentions this, okay, of course our halacha talks about this idea as well, that the house itself is protected by the mezuzah. But why then are we lighting on the left-hand side of the door over Chanukah? So there's many, many reasons. But one of those reasons is this. We want to be protected from all parts. And therefore, when we come into the door and we see the Chanukah candles on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, we have the mezuzah, that's great. But what about this idea, which is a nice idea? And the idea is that the mezuzah itself protects you when you go into the house, that the house itself should be a house full of midot, should be a house full of Jewish characteristics, should have beautiful feelings of what it means to celebrate together all the different chagim inside the house, the different festivals, Shabbat inside the house, and everything inside the house. But when you go out of the house and you see on the left-hand side, which will now be on your right-hand side as you exit from the door, just like you entered and it was on the right-hand side. So now it's the exiting and it's on the right-hand side. You will take your Judaism with you into the street. You will take what it means to be a Jew with you as you walk through the street. Remember, when we deal with the whole story here of the Chalonot, of you placing in the window, okay, which many of you do, you have the Pilsumei Nisa. You have the publicizing of the miracle. I'm not sure where all of you are lighting your Chanukah candles, but I know for sure that if you go to Golders Green, I think it is, that Chabad have a very, very large Chanukah up in, by the train station. It's to publicize the miracle of Chanukah. The publicizing of that miracle itself, of us being able to show the world of the beauty of the flame, of understanding that in each and every one of us is this beauty that just needs to be rekindled. We just got to find it. And so when you come out of the house, you see the Chanukah candles and you understand, I have those flames inside of me. I need to rekindle them, rekindle those flames and take what it means to be a beautiful person and a beautiful Jew into this world. Now, you can see again, as I said, Chanukah candles here in Yerushalayim are lit at a very different time to maybe the way they're lit in England. The minhag, the custom in Yerushalayim is to light just after sunset, not even when it's dark. It's when it's dusk. And the reason, again, of lighting at the dusk time and not when the stars are out, when it's completely dark, is because they say at dusk most of the accidents take place because it's not dark and it's not light. You don't need your headlights. You don't turn them on, but it's dusk. So you're in the middle there. And at that time of dusk, okay, it's the time when we light the Chanukah candles to say we are going to light up that period and we're going to light up the darkness when it comes as well. Just if Rabbi Levine, if you can tell me you can all hear me, that would be great, just because I can't actually see you on this.
We can hear you, and there are lots of thumbs up, nodding.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Faces.
Okay, now I have another phone here as well. So if there's any questions, you please send them on the chat, or Rabbi Levine, please butt in, okay, and tell us so that we know, okay, and we can answer them. Now, as I said,
ask a question like this, would you be able to hear them?
Yeah, somebody asks a question like this, I'll be able to hear. Sure. So I'm not worried about people butting in. Okay.
Interactive.
Okay. Now I'm just going to take you just to one other place while I'm walking over here. Just because I'm going to do a full square of the area. And I know it gets a little darker, I'm sorry. But you can see that we're walking through the streets of Nachlaot. Very beautiful old streets, as I said, from 1865. And as I told you before, the 32 neighborhoods that were here, each neighborhood has its own characteristic. And when I'm here in this area over here, at this neighborhood where I am right now, okay, the neighborhoods itself, some of them, and I know I'm very dark at the moment, so excuse me, I'll be back in the light in a second. But the neighborhoods themselves, some of them are from not just Ashkenazim that came to Jerusalem, and Montefiore didn't just deal with them either. Montefiore dealt with lots of different people, and one of the things that he dealt with was the Yemenites themselves when they came here. We're in a place over here called, if you want, the Shechuna, which is called Batei Goral. They're very, very small houses. Okay, they're over here. I'm going to show you. Just turning the camera to show you. Okay, one of these houses, and they were literally a room, a door, and a room that you have over here. Okay, I want to just take us now around the corner over here, past a very beautiful mural. I have to be quiet because there's another guide here. And if you can see, okay, if you can see the mural and the picture of the person up here. Now, let's go back here to this place over here. And we'll deal with the Yemenites first of all, before I deal with a person who lived across the road to him. And again, all I've done is make a square within the area. So I'm just going to show you one picture. Okay, over here. Now I'm going to move away because there's a lot of people here, and so I can speak to you without any problem. Okay, we'll be by the Chanukah, and we can speak here in the corner.
Nice to see the cats are out tonight.
Cats are out, the children are out, it's all good. Okay, and you can see again the Chanukah beautifully lit on the side of the door that we're standing by right now. When I stand here in this area over here, again, by this placard that you saw a second ago, we're in a place which is called Mishkanot Yisrael, this area over here. But I want to just speak about Rab Sawam, who is here, who is right opposite Ariel Levine's house. Now, he was a Yemenite that came here. And surprisingly enough, this man caused a major fuss in Jerusalem. Now, he was a big Kabbalist. He was a very important rabbi, especially to the Yemenites that were here. And above his house on the second floor, which you can maybe see now on the second floor up there, okay, above his house on the second floor is a Bet Knesset, is a synagogue where he used to daven in. But before he came here, he came on the famous Aliyah of the Yemenites. Now, what does that mean? Lo and behold, in 1880, word got to Yemen that the Jews had managed to buy up land in Yerushalayim. Word got to them what was taking place of Jews who had got out of the old city as well. As we spoke about a second ago in Mishkanot Shananim, the place where Montefiore set up the first neighborhoods of Jerusalem, and they made their way towards the Red Sea to get on a boat to go towards Egypt, then finally another boat that would come towards Yerushalayim, towards Yaffo, and finally they would be able to make their way on donkey towards Yerushalayim. Now, as they did that, many of them, as they came to this area of the Red Sea, all of a sudden, the Yemenite authorities decided they weren't going to, okay, the Yemenite authorities thought they weren't going to let them out because then they were worried that all the Jews would leave. So they stopped them leaving. They stopped the Jews leaving. Many of the Jews gave up hope and they went back to their homes. But other Jews decided that by hook or by crook, they're going to get to the land of Israel. And one of them was this very famous rabbi that I just mentioned a second ago. And I'm going to go back to his placard now, the group that's behind us, because it's very popular places. You can see for people to do tours over Chag, over Chanukah, to be able to see the Chanukiot. And one of them was this rabbi over here. So he gets here in 1882. Unfortunately, many of the people have lost their lives on the journey, which was very treacherous. And remember what it says in the halacha. It says in Jewish law that if the journey is too treacherous to make it to the land of Israel, you don't need to make it. And many people didn't. The largest aliyah that came to Israel was in 1701. And that was with a man called Rabbi Yehuda Chassid. I'm sure that many of you have been to the old city of Jerusalem. And when you go to the old city of Jerusalem, you've been to a place which is the Chova, the area which once just was an arch. And today they've rebuilt the synagogue at a cost of over $20 million, but they did it. They rebuilt it. He came with 3,000 people. The vast majority of them will die on the way. And again, the other people that will come here are Talmidei Hagra, the pupils of the Gaon Mivilna, who will be some of the most important people that will settle the land of Israel. Avsalom will come here, and he will come here, and unfortunately, as I said, many of them will die, and they enter into Jerusalem. Now listen to what happens. The Ashkenazim are in Jerusalem. The Ashkenazim who have come down from the city of Sfat are in Jerusalem. And when they see these Yemenites coming in with their tattered clothes after close to a year and a half of traveling towards the land of Israel, they think, who are these people? They may speak the same language as us, but they're just Arabs. They're not Sephardim, they're Yemenites. What does that mean? And even though today we know that the Yemenites, and we hold that probably the way they speak Hebrew with their ayin and their jah instead of a gimel is probably the closest to the source of how proper Hebrew should be spoken, the Hebrew that was read in the Torah, they basically turned their backs on them. They let them sleep in the Chova synagogue and in one of the other synagogues in the old city, but that was it. The Jews of Yemen then found another place after their Frumkin, who was an important early settler in this area over here, realized that this can't go on, and he found them a place to live in Silwan. Silwan is opposite the city of David, today in a very big populated Arab village. And we have, by the way, Jews living back in those houses today, but in an Arab village in Silwan. Avsalom decided that he couldn't stay there because he wasn't making a living. He came to Nachlaot and he decided he was going to build his area over here in Nachlaot, and he got married to a Sephardi. What a disgrace. Jerusalem was up in our arms. A Taimani, a Yemenite marrying a Sephardi. Yemenites have to marry Yemenites. They shouldn't be allowed to, if you want to marry out. Okay, not just from the Yemenite side, but from the Sephardi side as well. And we have another case like that of a very famous man who you may have heard of, Eliezer ben Yehuda. Eliezer ben Yehuda, of course, is the founder of modern day Hebrew. His son was known as Itamar ben Avi. He was Ashkenazi, and he wanted to marry a Sephardi. Okay, and again, it made front page news at the time. So we have crazy stories about what was going on here. But Avshalom was a very famous Kabbalist. He spent his days in the morning with a donkey delivering milk, and in the afternoon being a sofer, stam, a person who would write Sifrei Torah Mezuzot, and he lived opposite this building over here. Now you'll see that the door, okay, which is rarely open, is open, okay? And it's the door which goes up these steep stairs. I'm just going to show you quickly while it's open. Okay, up these steep stairs, okay? I want you to try and imagine a man of 89 climbing these stairs all the time. Because where am I now? And if I turn now back towards where we are coming to, we can see this very small door over here with a window, okay, which has got shutters on it. And I know it's quite dark. Up the top over here, you can see there's another floor at the top. That's the yeshiva today, okay? And this is the house of probably the most famous man who lived in Nachlaot. And to this very day, when people ask me, you know, is there a book that I need to read about Yerushalayim, about Jerusalem, or about any of the characters of Jerusalem, there is no doubt that the person who lived in this house over here is something that you must read. It's a book that came out by a man called Simcha Raz, and it was about a man called Rabbi Aryeh Levine. So I'm going to just turn the camera back to me now so I can explain the story. Are there any questions up to now before we get to the story of Rabbi Aryeh?
Questions?
Anybody? Any questions? We're okay? Aryeh Levine?
Sounds like we're okay for now. Aryeh Levine.
Okay.
Sorry. Svi, sorry, you're now muted by mistake. Just unmute.
Okay, fine. So Rabbi Levine's house as well has got a Chanukah up the top, as you can see. Okay, I hope you can see it. Yeah? All right, wonderful. The name of the book, I can't put it on the screen because I'm trying to guide, Marilyn. Good to see that you're here, though. But the name of the book is The Tzaddik in Our Time, The Tzaddik in Our Time.
Okay,
It describes a man who doesn't grow up here, okay? Of course, he grows up in Eastern Europe. We actually spoke about him, not in Morocco, but in Poland. And we spoke about him at Yeshivat Chachmei Lublin because we used him as an example of somebody who went to yeshiva in that time. When he was a kid, he left his home at the age of 12 and he went to yeshiva. What does it mean to go to yeshiva at the age of 12, not at the age of 18? He wasn't looking for a place that had a bathroom ensuite. All he got was a bench, and on that bench, he would sleep and in the ladies' gallery of that bench. He got jam and bread for breakfast, jam and bread for dinner, and then he had something which was known as Essentag, this concept of a family that would adopt them when they were in yeshiva in the town that they were learning in, that would give them soup, okay, during the day. But that's the story of him before he came to Israel. When he comes to Israel, we are now going to see an incredible, incredible person walking through the streets. And as I said, he dies 2 years after the 67 war at the age, I think I mentioned 89, excuse me, I think he was 84, okay, at that time. So who is this man and why does everybody, if you walk through the neighborhood here and you meet somebody, okay, I don't know, over 60, 70, and you mention the name Rabbi Aryeh Levine, they'll look at you with a strange look. Everybody in Yerushalayim knew him as Reb Aryeh, as if it was one word, Reb Aryeh. One word, Aryeh Levine. Aryeh Levine, okay, was quite well known here, as I said, in Yerushalayim, but he also was a very big supporter of a man who will arrive to the shores of Yafo and will be given the chief rabbihood of Israel, the first chief rabbi, a man known as Rav Kook. Now, Rav Kook will describe Rav Aryeh, just so you understand of how great Rav Aryeh is. Rav Kook would say this: if there were only 3 people in the world like Rav Aryeh, the temple would have been built in our generation. But unfortunately, Rav Aryeh stands by himself, and he was a very small man. He wasn't tall, he was very small, as you'll see from the book itself. Let me tell you a few things about him. Rav Aryeh would get up at 4:30 every morning. Now you can say, okay, many people get up for sunrise to pray at sunrise. But sunrise here, as I know I was told, I think the other day by somebody in England, your sunrise was 8:05, if I'm not mistaken, okay, or 5:28. Sunrise here at the moment is around about 6:05, 6:10. Why do you need to get up at 4:30 in the morning if you go sunrise, you're going to pray at sunrise, which is 6:10? Because Rebbe Aryeh was well known as being somebody who would always magdim shalom lechavero. He would be a person who would always say shalom aleichem to you before you were able to even say it. And he would also utilize the fact that he would understand that there's Yemenites and there's Sephardim and there's people from Syria, Chalabim, Jews from Syria, and Hasidim, and he did different accents for whoever it be. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem, okay, depending on whoever it was. He would makdim pnei chavaro. He would get up in the morning. So they said, why are you getting up at 4:30? One of his sons asked him. And he had 11 children in this small room behind us, as I showed you a second ago. Okay, and you can see now that I'm standing behind. Okay, in front of, excuse me. 11 children in there. Unfortunately, 4 of them will die. Okay, but him and his wife, Ethel, will continue with their unbelievable simcha. He would say he has everything. He doesn't need anything more. When they asked him, why can't we give you something else? He says, why can't I build you another room? They say, well, why would I want that when I can get up in the same room to find everything in the room itself? He put up a curtain by the sink at night, and then he would put mattresses out on the floor for him and his children. But when he would go, his kid asked him one morning, why are you getting up so early? He said this, there are people out cleaning the streets already at 4:30. There are people coming to the shuk, to the market at 4:30. We need to be able to say to them, Shalom Aleichem. And so we get up at that time in the morning to say, Baruch haba, welcome, how are you? And give them a smile, and always give them a beautiful handshake to the people as well. People remember his handshakes. But I want to just tell you a couple of things about him. He was well known, and if you read the book, he was well known as the rabbi of the prisoners. If any of you have been to the Russian compound, which is by the municipality of Jerusalem, you will go in there and you'll see the prison that the Jews were put in. Now, we speak about the idea that the Second Temple was destroyed because of sinat chinam, because of baseless hatred. But there was another period of baseless hatred. And that period was, I would say, from 20 years before the state of Israel, or 10 years before the state of Israel, until a little bit after the state of Israel. So who was the baseless hatred, or who did Jews, unfortunately, not get in with other Jews? We're talking about the different types of factions that fought against the British. Now, I know that I'm speaking to an English crowd here, and me being somebody who grew up in England, and we have to have hakarat hatov, we have to have give thanks to the British for giving us the possibility of living in Britain safely. But we can also understand that the history was not always so great with them, and certainly not here in the land of Israel. And there were a number of different people. I'm just going to stop, and because they're lighting Chanukah candles, so I wanted to show you, and I'll carry on in a minute. Chanukah Sameach. יש לך קהילה מאנגליה שסופר לך. יש לך קהילה מאנגליה שרוצה לראות אותך מדליק נרות. Okay, so אתם שייכים למשפחה? כן. Okay, so we have here the great grandchildren of Rabbi Levine. Okay, unbelievable. And they're about to light Chanukah candles. So you can see already. Okay, the wow. So we have great, okay, this is little Aryeh. If I can just take a pic, can you see him? Okay, say shalom. Shalom. Hey! Okay, so that's the great grandchild of Rabbi Levine. Very cool, no? Anyone there?
Fabulous.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
It is. So we're going to watch Rabbi Levine's great grandson light now Chanukah candles for just a minute, okay? If that's okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam אשר קידשנו במצוות ישראל, וציוונו להדליק נר חנוכות. Everybody. Amen.
Amen.
יעשו ניסים לאבותינו, בימים ההם בזמן הזה. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
אנחנו רואים אתכם כרגע. הם באנגליה, אוקיי? הם צופים בנו עכשיו, live. This is very cool. I didn't think we'd get this, Rabbi Levine. אני מדבר עם רב אחד שיש לו אותו שם משפחה. רב לוין, באנגליה. Rabbi Levine.
Hello.
They would like to see you. They would like to see you. Is there any way you can show yourself on the screen?
כן.
הנה, שנייה אחת. Let's just put him on. There, that's him.
זה באנגליה?
זה באנגליה.
חנוכה שמח, הפרלך חנוכה, הליכתיקה חנוכה. גרנו בנחלאות לפני כמה שנים.
This is incredible.
It is incredible because it's incredible to have the Levine family doing this with the Levines. What a schus.
Was it spelt the same way?
It is.
And we used to actually live on the street right next to Reb Aryeh Levine. So that's our connection. That's our connection to the family. Zvi's going to take us around there shortly.
Varia. Okay. Was it? Okay, they're letting us go upstairs into Ravarid's yeshiva upstairs, okay, into the Beit Knesset, okay? This is really very cool, okay? You ready for this, everybody?
Yeah.
Here we go. Now remember, we're climbing the stairs that the man that I was speaking to you about, okay, would do every day. Incredible. In there, Rabbi, you see? Now, if you haven't understood, already you can understand by the fact that we've been allowed into this house. This is the exact characteristics that Rabbi Levine had. I'm just going to put my mask on. Okay, here we are. Okay, so at the beginning, Rabbi used to live here, okay, in this house. But Rabbi gave this house to his kids. He said, what do I need all this for? I don't need all this, okay? And you can see quite clearly that it's very small. Okay. He's also gonna, okay, Ellie, is this okay that we do this? Okay, look at Rabbi Levine. Can you still see me and hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is his house, as you can see. A very small house, as you can see over here. But it's done up much better than it was in the time of Rabbi Levine, of course, who died in 1964. And he lights, as you can see, the bedroom is here, but he's lighting here in the room that Rabbi also learned in. So we're here now in this room.
That's interesting. Why does he light outside and inside?
We do the same as well.
Hedging his bets?
No, we do the same as well, to bring the Chanukah candles into the house as well. The beauty of the Chanukah candles. So we light inside. He's lighting by a window that faces the street, but we do the same thing too. We light outside. I light outside. My kids light inside. Okay, and my wife also lights inside. The same thing. I don't think they like the cold as much.
It's interesting to know that Nachlaot's a very varied area. You do have religious, but you also have less religious people living there altogether.
And I would say the beauty of Nachlaot is even those, many of us have seen unfortunate scenes, okay, of different pictures of certain people who unfortunately don't honor each other. That's not the case in Nachlaot. In Nachlaot, you're finding people get on one with another, Ashkenazim, Sfardim, people who consider themselves Hasidim, okay, people who consider themselves more traditional, less traditional, whatever it may be. People get on here. It's a very beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's the Southampton of Jerusalem.
It is the Southampton of Jerusalem. Okay, we're just going to follow the Levines up the stairs to the roof, okay, as well. Why does he light left to right? Was that the question? I didn't see.
Yes. From Francis Harris, why does he light left to right? Thought it was right to left.
I can ask him. Oh, there's more Chanukah here, as you can see, and they're facing out onto the street as well. This is a very different house to what Rabbi Levine lived in. Much bigger today. But we'll just be with them, and then we'll go back down the stairs. We'll ask him. Maybe he'll tell us a story, a personal story of Rabbi Levine, okay, of his grandfather. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So this is exactly how I light as well, from left to right as well. Again, it depends on where you are lighting according to the window itself. If he was lighting on the other side, the window, then he would light the different way. Oh, a little niggun in the middle of the guiding.
Anything right, sir?
Ay, anay, nay, nay. Tiddy da 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 da. Ay, di da da da. Tiddy da 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 da. Di da di da 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 da. Okay. All right. Is that good? Should we carry on, Rabbi Levine?
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, let's head down to the next stop.
אתה רוצה להגיד סיפור אחד של עבריה? Okay. Would you want to wait a second? And the kids are just going to finish lighting, and then he's prepared to tell us one of his personal stories. Is that good for you, or should I carry on?
Let's wait and see. I want to hear the story.
Okay. So I will tell you a story while I'm waiting. Okay, if that's okay. And I'm not gonna face it towards me. I'll let the other kids light, and you can see it while I'm speaking. So Abari Levine, as I told you, was asked to be the rabbi of all the prisoners, and that was the really what his fame came from. The British wanted to be able to find a vicar, and they wanted to also be able to find a imam, a Muslim person, to be able to look after the Arabs that were in the prison, and to find a rabbi, okay, to look after them. They went around to all the rabbis, and as I told you before, there was a lot of sinat chinam, faceless hatred, between the different groups here, and you didn't want to be basically told that you were Haganah, you were Etzel, you were Ilgun, you were all the other different types of groups here. People were very scared. All the rabbis turned it down. They were about to go to Tel Aviv to get a rabbi when this man in the office of the British said, "Why haven't you gone to Rebaria?" They said, "Who? Rebaria." So he said, "Who's Rebaria?" And they sent him to the shuk to go and find Rebaria. They found Rebaria in the shuk, and Rebaria sat down with them, and he said, "Of course I will do this job." Didn't think twice. When they told him what the money was, the contract, and how much you get paid to do it, he says, "I don't want the money. It's not about money. This is about looking after people." Okay, he refused to take the money, Rabbi, but he used to walk every single Shabbat from here, snow, rain, boiling sun, whatever it was. and he would walk towards the prison, and he would spend the whole morning with the prisoners there. Okay, in times which were very, very stressful for people, including, of course, the Olea Galdom, those people that were taken and unfortunately were murdered by the British inside the prison. They were hung in the prison. He would see them before this was about to take place as well. This is very, very stressful for Rav Aryeh. But, okay, this man who, Rav Aryeh Levine, okay, didn't let it, if you want, take over his life, and he continued with the chesed, with the unbelievable kindness that he'd be known for. One quick last story about him, which connects us as well to other types of very trying times, was in 1948. In 1948, Rav Aryeh Levine, okay, will be left, it was actually in 1950, by the time we got the bodies back, we'll be left with one of the most dramatic stories that take place in Yerushalayim. There was a group of soldiers that left from the area of Bet Shemesh towards Gush Etzion, and unfortunately they'd lost the battle to get to Gush Etzion. They were called the 35s, and the Lamed Hay themselves were mutilated by the Arabs. Their bodies were, and they couldn't identify who they were. They brought them into this place that you're now in. I don't know which room it was. Okay, probably walked past one of those rooms okay, they brought them into this place over here, and he did a Kabbalistic custom that was known as the Goral, and he had to identify the bodies themselves using the Tanakh, flicking through the pages until he found a sign on every single one, until he identified the names of 11. The 12th one, okay, was obvious who it was. In this room as well was Danny Mass, who was Danny Mass's parents, excuse me, who were the parents of the person who led the operation towards Gush Etzion. But Rav Aryeh Levine will be left with the unfortunate task of having to identify the bodies here. Okay, I'm just going to be quiet for the bracha. 1 second. Amen. Cool. Okay, we're just going to watch little Aryeh now. He's going to light the candles as well. Una mensch in England, weißt du, wie England?
Yeah, I think being mindful of the time. Let's get it the story if it's coming, and then head out to the ship.
So we're gonna go.
Be able to see the atmosphere of the market.
Yeah. Okay, he just wants to see you all. Okay, hold on a second. So he can see who's the people. Okay. Anglia. Okay, we're gonna be going out. באמת, הם צריכים לגמור ב8. אוקיי? אז אני צריך להספיק.
Chanukah Sameach.
Chanukah Sameach, Chanukah Sameach. Okay? Okay. We're going to continue onwards. Amon to that. He says there should be great light for all of Am Yisrael. The light of redemption.
Amen, amen.
Okay, we're going down to... No, שום דבר. תודה רבה. Okay, let's continue on. That's an unbelievable treat to be able to come into Rav Aryeh Levine's house, I have to say.
See, this is you unscripted.
Yeah, completely. But that's the beauty of being in Yerushalayim, no?
Cool.
The beauty of Yerushalayim. Okay, we're walking down the stairs that Rav Aryeh Levine walked down as well. Crazy. I'm not sure. You were in Nachlaot, Rav Aryeh Levine. You never got into his house, correct?
No.
Okay.
There's a street named after him, but we never got into the house.
Right.
So,
Okay, we're going to continue on now, down further on, passing Rav Aryeh Levine's house. Okay, again, passing Abu Lafia, named after a rabbi called Rabbi Abu Lafia. We're going to cross over Rehov HaShomron, which is in front of us now, which separates the neighborhoods. As I told you before, 32 different neighborhoods. And we walk into now, even though we're on the same street, which still says Rav Aryeh Levine, okay, it's a different neighborhood called Ohel Moshe, okay, that we're coming into now. Okay, and we're going to just, we'll do one or two things here before we go to the market. Is that okay with everybody?
Great.
I hope so. I'm sorry it's a bit dark here, but we'll be on a very famous street in a moment. Okay, as we walk through now. Here we go. I hope it's not too bumpy for you. You can see the small little simtaot, the small little alleyways, okay, of Nachlaot and of Olam Moshe and Masker Moshe and Masker Israel and all these other places that they're named after. Okay, here we turn. So Abu Lafia Street is named after the Rabbi of Tiberia who brought Jews back to Tiberia. Excuse me. So we're in. As you can see, the neighborhoods are built around a main square. But if you now look where I am right now, I think that this is what you need to speak about, O.A. Levine, because this is number 22 of V'chol Yadayim L'Mishpat. It's your show. Go for it.
Thanks for bringing us home. This is where Lauren and I lived. Rachel, Emunah, and Chani were born in this house, up the stairs, through those windows. And it's quite nice to celebrate coming home on our wedding anniversary tonight.
People haven't come on the top of that.
This is your wedding anniversary? Mazal tov, beautiful.
Lovely. Happy years.
Thank you. Oh, wow. We didn't have a dog in those days. There was no dog there. But you know what? As we're about to see, when Svi takes us to the market, we're literally a stone's throw from the shuk. And I think that helped us understand and appreciate the balance of being very close to the mix, everything which was noisy, the hustle and bustle of being involved in life, but also having a quiet, tranquil sanctuary, just away, a step back from that market. And it's that balance in life of being right in everything, but also being able to step back and reflect. Another thing is that this is really a melting pot. The park that C's showing us now is where people of all sorts, ages and backgrounds, religious, not religious, Israeli, foreign, would just come and sit and talk. And I think we really began to understand what the melting pot of Judaism is all about in this place. It became a big part of the foundations of our lives. So it's a very special place in our hearts and minds and stays with us wherever we go. Chanukah was always a particularly fascinating time. Lots of tours would come through, as Svi referred to earlier. And Lauren came up with a genius plan one year. Let's make soup for them. So she made a fantastic soup. And we served all the tourists who came through. What soup was it? Delicious tomato soup that night. Many beautiful Chanukah memories filled with light from Nachlaot. Back to you, Tzvi, as we head to the market.
Okay, wonderful. So we're walking now past the road that you lived on, Einayim Lishpat. We're passing the famous, if you ever come here and you want to know where they lived, just look for the eucalyptus trees, okay, that were brought here in 1902. Okay, these 2 eucalyptus trees. Remember, Israel didn't have eucalyptuses. They were brought to try and dry up the swamps. Here they are now. I know it's very hard to see, but these are one and the second eucalyptus tree. And it's opposite the shul of Chesed Avraham that you can see over here. Chesed Rachamim, excuse me. Okay, that you can see over here with the beautiful door. That's the road that the Levines lived on. Now, there's so much more to speak about in Nachlaot, but we're short of time because we went into Abari Levine's house, and I hope that was worth it for many of you. For me, it certainly was. But I know this isn't my tour; it's meant to be for you guys. But here we go. We're going now towards the shuk. So now, as we head towards the shuk, Thursday night, of course, Yerushalayim is busy. Even during Corona, and Corona, unfortunately, here is not doing great. We're now close to 3,000 cases a day in Yerushalayim. I'm going to take you straight across the road in a second. So I'm just going to be mindful how I cross the road. Here we go. Okay. Straight into the most famous bakery pretty much in the shuk. Okay. This is marzipan. Okay. As I walk in here. Now, marzipan has run out of donuts pretty much because the donuts are gone. But these things over here. Okay, the rogalach are the best rogalach, not just in Yerushalayim, but in all of Israel. Okay, they're here. So this is marzipan on a regular Friday when there's lots of tourists here. Okay, this would be absolutely jam-packed. You should know they freeze very well as well. If you ever come here and you want to be able to take them from here back to England, come to Marzipan. Again, it's bang opposite Nachlaot. You can see the sweets here from Chanukah, the hustle and bustle that you can hear everywhere. I hope you can hear me well enough. Forgive me if you can't. But I want to take you to a couple of important, interesting places here. Okay, so I'm going to walk past the area of the main part of the shuk, which we'll go into in a few moments. I want to just take you now to show you a different area. Here we go. Take you off the main road. Okay. Past the Sharon fruits that you can see here. Okay. And the mangoes and the figs. Here you see. Okay. The beautiful figs of Eretz Israel that you see over here. Look at them. Okay. One of the 7 species. And of course, it is strawberry season in Israel. Rabbi Levine, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. And it's an amazing
Can you hear me?
thing. Yes, the only produce available in the shuk, from our experience,
Okay.
is what's growing in Israel.
All right,
at the
I want to
time.
show you this, and then I'm going to move away from him. Okay? Here we go. All right. So this is Israel Trogim. Okay? אנחנו מדברים עם קהילה באנגליה כרגע. Okay. You love England, all right. Hold on. Okay. So we are now in what's known as Isha Trogim. This is a man who was 71 years old. You can see him here on the board behind me. Okay, 71 years old, who developed the idea of etrogim. Also somebody coming from Yemen, brought here the concept of what etrogim were, and he developed all sorts of things here. So if I turn the camera around now, okay, you can see over here the different things that they have. Okay, he believes truly, and I think he's 75 now. He's got unbelievable skin, and he doesn't use moisturizer that you might buy in, I don't know, a department store. Everything is made from etrogim, everything, okay, including the drinks which are here in the fridge, okay, that you can see, and of course this over here, which he chews, called gut. Okay, this is gut, which he chews. He swears by it. So we're now in the area of etrogim. You'll see over here, I wanted to show you one thing over here. Here you can see the Rambam's drink. Okay, it's the Rambam's drink, made from all sorts of things, but according to a recipe from Maimonides that we have over here. They have drinks, okay, from dates and from almonds, okay, that it's made from. And they have the brachot that you can say over here as well, the blessings. The famous place over here that you can feel that you're still in England a little bit, which is the fish and chips store, okay? Now I'm gonna walk through the shuk now. I'm gonna walk through the shuk now and, to be able to show you different things and the life that's going on in the market. Okay, remember, it's not great, I have to admit, because of Corona, but Israelis are a little bit fed up, as like the rest of the world are. And even though this is not meant to happen, it is happening. Hi, shalom. Okay. Okay, we're going to walk through now to take you to the place which is the best tahina, okay, in the shuk, and the best halva in the shuk, and the best coffee in the shuk as well. So let's come this way with me. Okay, let's come this way with me now. Here we go, past the fruit and the vegetables. I hope you're enjoying seeing life again here. Okay, in Yerushalayim, we're all waiting for you here. Now I'm going to take you first and foremost to a place that my daughter worked in for a number of years. Okay, this is the best cheese shop in Israel. And cheeses that you can't get in England have been made.
And the 4th best cheese shop in the world.
Okay, this is called Basha over here. Okay, here we go. So you can see now here all the different cheeses that you can buy here in Israel, okay? And the good wines that you can buy. we have over here. So if I just take a picture, shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom, mashallah. Okay, so you can see over here all the different cheeses that you have over here, which give you the possibility of understanding over here things that you can't actually touch in England, that they've made a special pus, which is kosher here, okay, for this shop. So it's incredible to see, but that you can buy and taste some of the most incredible cheeses that, as somebody who keeps kosher, you would only dream of being able to do. And the Israeli wines, of course, that have won so many of the medals around the world. I really hope you can hear me well enough, which I don't know. If you put it in the chat, I'll know whether or not you can hear well enough. Okay? I want to take you now to see this. Unfortunately, the coffee place is closed, but you're now listening to what happens to the shuk at night. It turns into a place of bars and clubs. You're not allowed at the present moment to serve any food. People aren't allowed to sit down, but people get takeaways. We're here now by the knafa place, okay? And you can see all the knafot over here, okay, which are being sold here, the sweet desserts. The sweet desserts that come from the area of Morocco and other Arab countries which have taken over this country too. Okay, I'm going to take you just to one last place over here. As we walk through, I hope he's still open. But when you come, Mariam, we'll bring you back. All right. No, you see, I think he might be closed, but let's see. Okay, you can see over here. All right, here we go. He's still open, so I want to be able to just show you this over here. Okay. This is Melech HaTchina, okay, over here, Melech HaTchina, which you can see over here. This is the guy who's well known for the best tchina in Yerushalayim, in Israel. All of these tchina over here, you do not need to refrigerate, which is different to the tchina that you have in other places, okay, where you need to refrigerate. Look at how the tchina is made over here. Okay, this is with a 160-year-old stone that was brought in from Syria. The sesame, organic sesame seeds are put in through here. They drop down into this place over here. And you can see, if you look into the window of the vat over there, you can see the sesame seeds. They're organic. They come from Ethiopia, the seeds themselves. They come through this Syrian old wheel. And then we get the tchina coming out over here. All organic, absolutely incredible. And they realized that not everybody likes just tchina by itself. So they made all different types of flavors. Shalom, shalom. Zakila mi Anglia. So it's something live. Okay. All right. Okay, so Nissim is here. He sells here the tchina. And Miat? Oli. Shalom, Oli. Oli's also here. Okay, so there are all different types of different tchinas that you can buy here. And again, the amazing thing about it is they don't need to be refrigerated. They can be kept. They can be kept and not to worry about them. I want to maybe just, if we can finish off by taking you to one last place if it's open. And that, I think, is a place that is connected. Trying to think of the name of the stuff that you get in Budapest. Okay, Kiotish, okay, chimneys. So let's take you to one of those. Those of us who keep kosher and have traveled through the through Europe and have sometimes been very jealous. Yes, hello. People are very excited that other people are watching you. Okay, and I've been jealous that other people can eat these types of things. So I'm going to see if it's still open here, just to show you. Here we go. So, okay, in Prague, Budapest, Austria, wherever you may be. Okay. Well, this is one of them. This isn't really the one I wanted to show you. The other one's not open, but you can see here the kiotish, okay, over here, which they then have all the sprinkles and all the flavors on over here. Let's just go out to one last place here. Are we okay with time, Rabbi Levine? Rabbi Levine?
We're hitting our limit.
Okay, we're coming now to the end, okay? So I'm just going to take you to one last place over here.
And from here, can you walk us down to Be'er Sheva to finish there, possibly?
Oh, that's a bit of a distance, but I can do.
How long would it take you to get down there? Maybe people can
It'll
ask
take
questions.
you 7 minutes to get down.
Because we believe there's a lovely Chanukah party with music going on there.
Okay, so fine. So I'll take you down from here down
only
to
only for those who want to stay, and maybe there'll be some questions whilst.
So we're going to go down to Rehov Be'er Sheva now. You can see the shuk, the open part of the shuk. I'm gonna jump the next part and take you down now to Rehov Be'er Sheva. Okay. So you're gonna have to walk with me through the streets. Okay. I hope you're enjoying seeing Yerushalayim a little bit alive. And we miss you all. Come home soon. We'd love to see you.
What were the rules during lockdown?
Yerushalayim as well.
Svi, when Israel was on lockdown, was the shuk actually closed?
Yeah, when Israel was on lockdown, the shuk was closed. Now, Israelis being Israelis, okay? Even though the government gave no permission for the market to open up, they couldn't understand how come supermarkets could open, okay? And other shops could open, and they were banned from opening. And so many of them opened illegally and then forced the hand of the government. It's the same thing as IKEA did. IKEA did the same thing. IKEA opened illegally. Okay, they couldn't understand how nearly every shop was allowed to open and they weren't. And so they opened illegally too. And that's how IKEA is now open as well. But I'm going to say this, you know, after today's news, we are racing towards the third closure in Israel. We're not even walking there. We're racing towards the third closure, which is very sad to hear. Okay, I'm just going to try and cross the road over here. Beautiful. If you can see across the road now, there is, I'm going to cross the road. Just hold on a second.
Just to give some
context. There is over here Coffee Works powder. These are, if any of you like Cape Town coffee, okay, coffee from Cape Town, from the roasteries of Cape Town, and there are many excellent ones, then these are Cape Towners that have come here and have opened their own roasteries here. And it's outstanding coffee as well. Okay, I'm now going to be walking down Rehov Chalchul, which means the same as Chevron, Chalchul. Okay, if you ever go towards Chevron, you'll pass an Arab village that's known as Chalchul. Chalchul, just like Chevron, means Chaverim. Okay, Chaverim. I'm going to head towards Rehov Be'er Sheva.
Svi, what are people feeling about the rain, and how long has it been raining for?
So it's been raining
I asked that because rain is obviously a positive thing in Israel.
Okay, so look, the rain here is obviously a very important thing for us to have, number one. Okay, but the problem is that many of our cities do not have the infrastructure to deal with the amount of rain that comes down. I'm sure that Rabbi Levine will be able to teach you the story of Choni HaMagel. Okay, look at this beautiful menorah as we walk past. I'm just going to show you in the window. Okay, that's a light. If you can see it, I hope you can. Of Choni HaMagel, who asked for rain. Okay, and the rain came down too hard. He said, that wasn't the rain I wanted. I wanted a certain type of rain. Anyway, the story's in the Talmud. We unfortunately get very harsh rain many times. And that rain itself, we don't have the amount of drainage to be able to deal with it. Okay, we're going down Rehov Beit Tzur Street, which connects us as well to the Chashmonaim. Okay, Beit Tzur. Remember, you sing the story of Ma'al Tzur. Okay, of Ma'al Tzur, which you sing the song of Ma'al Tzur. 1 second. Of Ma'al Tzur. So we're going down Rehov Beit Tzur. And you can see here, there are many Chanukiot that are alight in the windows and outside, okay, which are over here. We're getting close to Rehov Be'er Sheva now as we walk towards the area. So I'm going to be leaving Beit Tzur. Okay, Beit Tzur was an area where the Maccabim fought in. So it's interesting that we're walking down there and we're heading towards, as we said, called Beersheba, which happens to be one of the most beautiful places in the whole area of Nachlaot, within the 32 different neighborhoods. Passing the street named after my daughter, Rehov Ayelet, okay? But they call it Eilat here. We call it Ayelet. And now, not far away now, if you can just bear with us as we walk past the Chanukah again in the windows. I hope you're taking in the breathtaking scenery of Nachlaot, because it really is a beautiful place. Unfortunately, some of the beauty of this neighborhood has disappeared from the people that once lived here. It was a very much a kibbutz type of place, and I could have taken you here to a woman who was known as the doctor. Her name is Tuti. She lived here all her life in this place. She's passed away now. But all the people that grew up in this place over here all talk about the fact they never, ever locked their doors, ever. And they would be able to go from place to place, okay? They'd be able to go from place to place. And maybe this is the party that we're looking for. I'm heading towards the music. Okay, this is just in the middle of Nachlaot now. לא, אני בסדר. אני דווקא לייב עכשיו עם קהילה מאנגליה. Okay. So we're just being offered soup here, which we're not going to take at the moment. We might come back for it.
They took Lauren's idea. That's great. Good to know it's cottoned on.
That's right. We're on the Nachlaot Beersheba. What number do you want me to go to? Ellie?
Just checking now. Maybe ask for Mishpachat Razel.
Okay. Mishpachat Razel. Mishpachat Razel. Which one do you want, Ellie?
Rika.
Rika. Rika.
So you go down here, and you turn right, and see them.
Okay. So we're going to Rika's house now. Okay, we're going to come back for a little kumsitz here after we finished. Okay, here we go. We're going to Rika's house now. Should be down here and on the right somewhere.
This is a well-known Nachlaot family called the Razels.
There's a few of them though. That's the issue.
A couple of brothers and a sister, and they generally get together on the evenings of Chanukah to form their own family band. Lauren can tell you more.
Lauren, do they live on Rehov Tekoa or on Rehov Beersheba?
Beersheba.
Because Rehov Beersheba goes into Tekoa, and I can hear music coming from Rehov Tekoa.
Okay, follow the music then.
Okay.
Their grandmother was a Holocaust survivor who came from Holland, and they're an extremely musical family. We've had them at some of our South Hampstead events over the last few months, and they would all play for hours and hours. And Rika, every year, they light their Chanukiot outside, and many people come from all over Yerushalayim to sing with them and to come and watch them. And Rika said she would love us to pop by.
Okay, we're coming to the big party here. This could be the Razels. Who knows?
Nice. We thought this would be a nice way to finish with a bit of Hanukkah music live from Jerusalem.
Okay. Nice. That's Hanukkah in Yerushalayim, everybody. This is them, Vika. Okay, Mishpachat Levine. Okay, Ellie, I'm going to pass on for you. Okay, we're here at their house. There we go. Lauren, I'm at the right house, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
Rika.
That's Rika Rosner.
When she stops, we can maybe we'll hear a word from her.
I'm going the other side to get some light. Who would you, let me just ask you very quickly. Is there somebody that I'm meant to be speaking to here?
If Rika stops singing, I think we might be able to get a word with her. Otherwise, let's just feel the vibe a little bit and wrap up so that people can go up.
Oh.
Head into the night with that song. Lauren did message Rika.
Is there somebody that you want me to speak to here?
Let's see if
Rika's
available.
Can you put it in the chat, maybe? Hold on a second. Can somebody type if there's somebody that we're meant to be meeting here? Okay, Rika herself. Okay. מי זאת ריקה? ריקה? אנחנו הולכים להיכנס? קצת אור? אפשר? אוקיי, שנייה אחת. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pass you. Here's Rika.
Hey,
Hi,
just
Rika.
catching the last seconds of like the Chanukah. Zot Chanukah, such an amazing day of Segula. It's also Rosh Chodesh, and so many things. This is the time to daven and to pray next to the lights. And Chanukah is such an amazing, beautiful, special Chag that you know that even with Beit HaMikdash, we're still gonna have it, and something that everyone loves, to light a candle and to play dreidel. Just connect your light within and to bring light and to get the light from the menorah and have it on your face. And that today we only show half of the face, but even beneath the masecha that will, beneath the, what's it called? Mask. Sorry, my accent is not so good.
Rika,
So just that we'll all get all the light from all the beautiful candles and give and spread light all over the world, and see you here in Jerusalem soon, hopefully.
You're gonna speak up and say hello.
Hello.
Thank you, Rika. When did this?
Oh, we can't hear you. Can you hear? One second. Don't know why I can't hear you. Hold on a second. I'm not sure why we couldn't hear you. Speak again, Rabbi Levine. And Lauren, speak again.
I was just going to ask Rika, when did it start that everybody would gather around the Razel's house on Chanukah?
And I think it's like there
you go.
Maybe.
All right, back to the meetings. Just 1 second.
So I don't know. It just became also very just a beautiful area, and like all the alleyways. Maybe you've seen it, and we all live very close to each other. So everyone has their own candle lighting. Aaron has, my brother Yuda, my parents, and we do too. It's a beautiful thing. Just everyone comes and we sing in front of the candles for hours, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Just sit outside and pray and pray next to the candles and daven and see our dreams in the lights, and hope that all be well and good, and just to see everyone walking around. People come from all over the country and just be at the scene, and it's beautiful to see everyone, all types of Jews and Christian.
Well, now
okay, so we wanted to thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna maybe I will end the presentation here by wishing everybody a beautiful. You can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
1 second. Hold on. I don't know why my camera's now playing up. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm just going to get the camera back together. Something's happened to the phone right at the very end. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. Managed to get it working again. So I just wanted to thank you all for joining us in Yerushalayim. Okay, I hope you had a wonderful time here in Nachlaot. You can hear the music in the background. It's a great way to end off. Okay, as the Lubavitcher Rebbe said, all of us need to be these lamp lighters on Shabbat to go out and light up the world. Okay, take all of the inspiration that we've seen here and the beauty that we've seen in Yerushalayim. God willing, COVID will end very soon. We'll come out of the darkness and into the light. And so I wish you all a Chanukah Sameach.
Well, thank
Over
you.
to the Levines.
Thank you so much, Svi. How amazing that we've actually managed
Which I can't hear.
cross the boundaries and bring Israel and England together again in this way. We did it on Tisha B'Av on a sad day, and here we are doing it in such a joyous way on Chanukah. And actually the words that we end off with, the Megillah on Tisha B'Av, on that sad day when we were last together, we say, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. May our days be renewed as old. And we say that, of course, whenever we take the Torah back to the Ark as well. And that's really what I felt watching this tour through Nachlaot. You've shared with us their ancient stories, the stories spreading across centuries. And of course, our minds go even further back than that. And the imagination, runs wild. And then we come right into today. We see the busyness of the shuk, the people singing, the new age. And then you really brought that to life for us. So, Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. And as I think Sharon wrote in the chat, please God, soon we'll be able to be there ourselves. But in the meantime, this has been a real treat. Chanukah Sameach, everybody.
We're waiting for you.